Hey everyone, my name's Emily. I'm making a process video about this cute little drawing I did. It's inspired by the USPS. So I started off drawing an isometric grid, and I drew a few boxes too to kind of give myself an idea about the composition and where I want things to go. And you'll see too after this cut that this is the first YouTube video I'm making. There it is. I forgot to film it, but basically I'm roughing out the character. You'll see it in other parts of the video though, so don't worry about that. So now I'm starting on the mail truck, and I think they're honestly super cute. But honestly, this is one of those trust the process videos, because at first when I really was editing this, I was like, wow, like this just, it just doesn't, it doesn't really look like the truck at all, but I think it comes together in the end pretty alright. To help with drawing, I drew an orthographic view of the truck. It really helped me with figuring out what was wrong. And also another thing too was I typically I'll draw cars too narrow, whereas they need more width. Next I started working on a CBU, which is a cluster box unit. You'll see these with like apartments and stuff like that. Coming up is how I'll sketch out people, roughing out their proportions. At first it looks like they're just stick figures with their boxes and sticks for their limbs, but it's a pretty quick way for me to be able to pose them how I want them. And maybe I watched too much Kids Next Door growing up, but I just love the proportions of with like the bigger hands, bigger head, the bulky shoes. I just love it, so I kind of use it a little bit whenever I draw cartoon people. One thing to mention here is I like to work on separate layers using the cover overlay feature. Usually I'll just set a very vibrant color to help me distinguish which layer I'm working on. It helps me a lot, so. If you're wondering why I just jumped from character to character, I also don't know why. Art making is a beautiful thing. Also, if it looks like I kind of cut a lot, it's just because I like to zoom out and zoom back in. And having this be sped up a ton, it just makes it look super nauseating, so I try to eliminate that. So there's gonna be a few cuts. Coming up, I was gonna draw a bald guy, and all I could think about was the SpongeBob movie, where he just goes, bald, bald. My eyes! There he is. He gets cut out, so he's not in the final illustration. The next thing I'm drawing is a mail case, and basically it has little slots for each address on the mail route, so you can sort the letters in flats for each address. Around this part is one of my favorite parts to do in any drawing, adding on little details to make it feel a little more lived in, and just give it a little more character than just, you know, the blocks I kind of start out with. Adding different details like that, I really enjoy it. Now this part's a little tedious because I literally just was adding lines to every little dash, but it was okay. I just chilled to music. As I now start moving on to drawing the people, it's one thing to note that I don't really like drawing people that much. It's not that I can't, it's more just, it's just harder for me compared to other things like actual objects. I'm a lot more comfortable drawing the the CPU or the case than actual people. But it was fun to be able to design them all and have the different clothes and hairstyles. It was fun. It's good practice. Here's a little fun fact. This person, I needed someone to draw, so I was like, I'll just draw myself. So that's me. Although I got my hair cut, so it doesn't look exactly like that anymore. Now at this point, after a while, I just was not liking the previous composition, so I just decided to switch it a little bit. After that, I decided to reline the car just because the lines were so messy. Just to make them look cleaner and stuff. More finished. There's going to be a cut here, but basically it's just another instance of me using color overlay to help clean up some lines. It was at this point in the drawing process for this illustration where I was like, there actually is like no mail. So I decided to add some more to the tracks. There's two ways to deliver the mail. One way is just to take it out to the street. And then the other way is to case it all with, and so you have all your letters with the flats. If you take it out to the street, you're basically sorting your flats into your case and just taking your letters out, and you sort through them while you're not driving, but basically, and I don't like doing that personally. Now we're finally at the coloring part, and typically I don't color pick from a picture, but with this being a brand, I decided best to stick to their colors. Because of how I draw, the coloring part is basically a coloring book, just filling in all the different spaces with color. There's probably a more efficient way to do it than how I do it. I know you can use the lasso tool and stuff, but I don't know why this time I just decided to just hand draw it in. When it came to coloring the cases, it was honestly kind of hard to get an appealing color. Like if you look online at any image, the picture just looks so gross in terms of the different colors. Like everything just looks so desaturated. Here are a few swatches I color picked from a few photos, and while I like them individually, I think just all together it just looks so just dull. In most of my other drawings, I usually like to have not a lot of saturation, but still a big array of colors. It was off camera, sadly, but I actually was able to find something, a color combination that I kind of liked. I think I liked it in the end. Once I colored in the truck, I think it really made the truck feel like come alive. Before, I feel like it just wasn't really working for me. But once I got the blue in there, and then also like the stripe you'll see pretty soon, I was like, yes, like this is it. Like this feels a lot nicer. When it came to doing the window, I put a multiply layer on and drew in reflections, and just in general made everything darker in the truck. Not gonna lie, I think the window is probably my favorite part of this whole drawing, so. Here's what I mean earlier about the stripe. Especially once I get the red in, it really pops. This is another one of those points where I mentioned earlier the idea of adding more detail, this time obviously with more color. Best part. When I'm done adding color, I like to put on a multiply layer to create shadows and just give it a little more depth. Especially with the multiply layer, I think one of my biggest inspirations for coloring is our old Flash games on the internet. I played those a lot when I was younger. So at this point, I'm done. Finished it. After this, I was just scrolling through to see some different effects. I do want to try some of those one day. I also like to add on a noise layer, just to give it a little more texture. And then I was also playing with the idea of maybe making it a pattern. You could just keep going on and on and on. So this is it. Hope you liked it. I do. If you liked this video, that's great. I had fun making it. I hope to make more in the future. So if you could stick around, that'd be cool. Thanks.